Flight Network Thoroughbred Racing Show. With us is Ryan Miller, and he is here to break down these stakes races this weekend. A couple of good Derby prep races as well going on as we get into the heart of horse racing season. Ryan, are you ready to break down some of these horse races this weekend?
Yes, sir. I'm ready to go.
All right, let's start out in Oaklawn in Arkansas, and let's start out in the Oaklawn mile here. This one I looked at, and I think there's basically one horse in this race that I saw really could really win this race, but I didn't see much more. Did you see anything in this race outside of the number 4 horse, Susanne, that really could do much damage in this race?
The only other horse I see, maybe the 8 horse, Olson, Brad Cox's horse, being ridden by Florent Giroux. So maybe the second horse there. I mean, I know the Baffert horses with Pratt on there are going to be the one to beat there, the 4 horse. But I do also like the 8 in that race. And another dark horse that I really like in that race would be Market Analysis. That one that's probably my long shot for that race. They've had some pretty good results at Oaklawn. A first, a second, and a first this year there at Oaklawn. So the horse knows the track, and that'd be my long shot for that race. But yeah, the 4 and the 8 would probably be the top 2 in that race.
Yeah, I was pretty much on the 4 and the 8. Folsom, I did like some of the numbers he put up, and he's pretty, used to running in stakes races here. So I did like him. The other one I looked at was Silver Prospector, another veteran horse who's run a ton of stakes races, but, he pretty much goes 50-50 to finish in the money. And if you look back, he ran in February, finished in the money. So if you're playing that out, this might be one of those races where he doesn't finish in the money. I did take a peek at Market Analysis. He doesn't seem to have a whole lot of stakes races in him, and I don't know if he can finish up in this level of competition. So I was definitely on the 4-8 and maybe go after the 6 a little bit in this race. So basically in this race, I made a 4 win bet and then an exacta on the 4-8, and then I did a trifecta 4-8 10-6. So that's sort of where I was aiming at in that race. And then to sort of look into the other races on this card, I did a pick 3 because I think in the next race we're going to talk about as well, I think there's one horse that sort of stands out as well. So you could probably do a pick 3 with the 4 in this one, the 5 in the next race, and then sort of wheel that claimer race that's on the bottom in there. Maybe try to win you some money. I don't know how much money you're going to win by the time the 4 goes off in this race, but maybe in that last race on the claimer you hit a long shot in that one and you can win you some money. So that was pretty much where I was thinking. Anything you wanted to bet on in this one?
Oh, I like that. I like that pick 3. That's a really good bet there. Going with the 2 Baffert horses back to back. Yeah, the 4-8, I like that. Exactly. I would probably do that. Just depends on how much money you spend. Like if I did a trifecta, I would like to do 4-8, and just throw in like the 3 and the 6.
Yeah.
Maybe what was another one? Maybe the 1, just for some money, maybe.
Yeah. The other thing you could probably do in the try is 4-8, 4-8, 1-2 on the 1 and the 2, and then sort of throw in everything you like in that 6. I don't know how much money that's going to make you in the end. Maybe some super long shot comes in at 3rd and you get some, but if the 4-8 comes in, you're probably not going to win a ton of money on that one. But, any money is good money, I guess, in that high end side.
Right.
All right, let's move on to the Oaklawn Race 10, the Fantasy Stakes here. And once again, I think there's a couple more in this one that might be able to pressure a little bit, but I really liked the number 5 horse in this one, Ida. It's just sort of been on a nice roll here. And I didn't see a ton of other horses that really were on its level. I looked at a couple. I liked the number 7, Yuri Girl, looks pretty solid in this race. And then the other one I was looking at a little bit was also the number 6 as a long shot. I didn't love it, but you look at Maria's Fortune, she seems to finish in the money. She hasn't raced at this kind of level really yet, but she's run 5 races. She's finished 5 times in the money. Maybe she comes in a distant third. Where are you looking at in this race here?
Yeah, I'll agree again. The Baffert horse, the 5, Ida, and then I kind of like Bubble Rock.
Yeah,
has been in a couple of stake races. Didn't do very well at the Breeders' Cup, but came in first. I mean, that was in October, but came in first in a Grade 3 at Belmont. In the last couple of Turfway, a second and a first. So I mean, there's a chance Bubble Rock could come in there. And then again, I was on Maria's Fortune also. I really like you said, she has been in there in the money 5 times. I think if you really wanted to go for a long shot, the 2 horse.
Yeah, I looked at him. He looked solid. It's just he hasn't run much, and that was where I was a little bit, nervous. The other one I looked at was the one in Dream Lilith. She broke her maiden on her first race. I always am impressed when that happens, but then after that, she basically hasn't done a ton. She did finish first in a Grade 2 race in November, so maybe Dream Lilith, but it looks like every time she's sort of stepped up in class, she hasn't been a true contender. So I sort of bumped her, but if you're trying to fill out, any exotic bet cards, I maybe throw the one Dream Lilith in there. I didn't see much else in here. I looked at your Bubble Rock. The only thing that pushed me a little bit away is price might change, but it's 3-to-1 price. It didn't seem like quite enough for a horse that seems to either win or doesn't show up. And it's one of those where if I'm going to bet you in an exotic, I sort of want you to show up in that one, especially if you're only coming in at a 3-to-1 price. So my bets on this race were once again, I did 5 to win. I did a win place show bet on the 7, and then I just did a simple try box on the 5, 6, 7. But I don't know if the try box would really be worth the money on that one. I think you probably just ride the 5 and then a win place show bet on the 7 for me. Where are you looking at on here?
Yeah, I would agree. The 5. Again, I hate betting on Baffert horses, but again, I mean, these horses are good. I mean,
we're going to get into that on the Arkansas Derby, where there's a Baffert horse, but it's not really a Baffert horse.
And I like the 6, Maria's Fortune. I mean, a win place, maybe a win place show bet across the board.
I could see that.
5, 6. I mean, I liked your 5, 6 trifecta box.
Yeah.
I mean, I like that. I might, and I know about the 9. I kind of agree with you there.
If the price goes up on race day, it definitely might be worth it. You might want to keep an eye on that and see where the money's sort of flowing, and maybe he gets a little bit better than like 3-to-1 odds, on that, and then you get a little bit more value than sort of the third favorite horse coming in this one when 2 of them are sort of already off the board. So I like that. All right, let's move on to the Arkansas Derby here. I mentioned the Baffert horse that isn't the Baffert horse in this race, who just got moved to stable, so he could qualify into the Kentucky Derby. We'll see if he can do that. The number 4 Doppelganger, I will say that's sort of the one I was looking at. I liked the 3-to-1 price. I watched him in that San Felipe Stakes about a couple weeks ago. I thought he ran pretty well to Forbidden Kingdom in that one. I Uno Ojo, the number 5, I think is everybody's darling coming off that Rebel Stakes where he finished 75 to 1 on the board. I don't know if anybody took those 75 to 1, but if you did, you're in a nice little coin there. A couple others that I looked at on this one that I kind of liked. I think you have to look at Secret Oath a little bit in this one, and then my long shot in this one I looked at was the number 4 horse. I don't know if it's quite not the number 4 horse. I already went with the number 4 horse. I meant the number 6. I think was the one I was looking at as my long shot here. Secret Oath. No, that wasn't it. Which one was I looking at? Barber Road. That was the number 3 horse. Barber Road. I was looking at. He finished 3rd in that Rebel Stakes. He was about a 5 to 1 favorite going into that one. He doesn't seem to win a lot of races, but he does seem to finish in the money. I think his odds will go up at 8 to 1. So I was looking at Barber Road a little bit. What were you looking at here as the favorites? Were you looking at the Doppelganger, the number 4, the Baffert horse, or were you looking more somewhere else on this card?
I really like Secret Oath in this race. For some reason, I mean, she's done okay. Let's see, 3 first, and the last 3 on. So has looked pretty good. And I do really like that Barber Road.
Yeah.
That I think they could have done a lot better in that Rebel Stakes. So, but I think you're right that one's probably going to come down. So the 6-3, and I'll throw in the Doppelganger. There. So I was trying, and let's see here.
Well, I was the number 9 horse here, who's run only twice, and one in a maiden, one in an allowance. I get its breeding and all that. That's really off, but at 7 to 2, I just don't know if I can take a horse that's being thrown into a high stakes race here, a grade 1 after 2 races off that never been done. He is an Oaklawn Park horse, so maybe that. But I didn't see a lot of value in the number 9. We the people, I didn't know. Do you see any value at the 7 to 2 number there? It just scares me with not that much testing that he's had.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I kind of like these 8-horse Cyberknife. Had some good races. I mean, the first came in 6th in a grade 3, January, and a couple seconds in the other first there. So, I mean, if I'm going to go for some money, I would look for at the 8-horse there. So 6-3 are probably my top 2. And then if I throw in the 4, probably the 4 and the 8 would be my next 2 that I'd be looking at.
Yeah. I went. I sort of went heavy on the 4 and the 6. I went win place, both on 4-6 on this. I did an exacta box for the 4-6, and then I did a trifecta. I talked about it earlier. I went 4-6 on the 1 and 2, and then just sort of wheeled the rest of the horses because after the first couple, I don't know really what one's the best exotic one. There's a bunch that are sort of unproven, and then there are a bunch that have sort of run a lot of stakes races but haven't done a lot in that. And then I mentioned Barber Road, maybe put a win place show bet, but I'd sort of look where that money is going. If his odds come down, I don't know if it's quite as valuable if it goes sort of below that 8 to 1.
Right, exactly. I agree with that.
All right, that's the Arkansas Derby. You want to move on to Gulfstream Park here. Let's talk about the Pan American Stakes. I must say I went through this Gulfstream Park card. I didn't love a ton of bets on sort of a bunch of these stakes races, so I'm going to feel a little lame here trying to make bets, and I'm like, I just got like 1 or 2 win play show bets on these things because I just didn't see a lot of stuff. But this first Gulfstream at the Pan American, there are 2 that I looked at here. And honestly, I just went for a long shot because I didn't love the favorites here. So the long shot I'm looking at is the number 4, Tide of the Sea. It's run a ton of stakes races right now, going off at 20-1. It's not a great horse, but he seems to be able to sometimes be up in there.
Right.
You know, he won at Gulfstream Park, you know, in January of 21. He won that race over one of the horses in here that's a favorite, Temple. So he's shown at least some class to be able to run with a couple of these elites ones. The favorite one I looked at, there are a couple to pick from here. I looked at the number 5, Abanon, but honestly, I couldn't separate the 3 or 4 favorites in here. So I just looked at this race, maybe take a long shot on the number 4, Tide of the Sea, because I couldn't really separate the handful of favorites in this one. I was curious how you sorted out the favorites in this one, because they all looked about around the same level to me.
Right, I agree. And also, I would look at the weather, and the weather shows some rain Friday and Saturday. It's just kind of iffy sometimes when you get in these stake races, especially if these are on turf. They might move to that Tapeta stuff, and that's a totally different ball game. But if it's me, I'm probably looking. If I'm doing the favorites, I'm probably going 5, 6.
You go 5, 6,
and then Temple. But I really like the 4, though. Like you said, the Tide of the Sea with Gaffleon and Maker. If that stays on turf, Gaffleon pretty good on turf. I mean, he's like probably the best turf jockeys there is. And obviously Maker's a great trainer. But yeah, I really like that. So hopefully it stays on turf. And for the money, yes, number 4, Tide of the Sea would be a great pick. And throw in the 4, 5, 6 trifecta box, or even a 4, 6 exacta box. I mean, costs you a little bit, but if that 4 comes in, I mean, you're still at 20. If it stays at 20-1, I mean, you're making some pretty good money though.
Yeah, I agree. I my best bet on that would just be a 4 win place show. See if it comes in. I don't know if it's going to come in, but I think there's a solid chance he at least, you know, is up there, you know, contending to be in the money. And then you mentioned it, maybe try an exacta or a trifecta box with the 4 in there with a couple of those favorites and see what goes on. So we'll move off that one and move on to the next one. This one, once again, I didn't, you know, find a ton. I usually love these, you know, Gulfstream Parks Oaks races, but this one I just didn't find a ton of love. The couple of the favorites in here, I've watched a couple of times earlier this year. Haven't loved the way they've run all that much. So I looked at the sort of 5 in this one, and Goddess of Fire. She's finished second a couple times, you know, in grade 2, but I didn't love it. And then you got Kathleen O, who's the far away favorite, but once again, I don't love that price at 4 to 5, so I'm not going to grab that at that price. She's probably the runaway winner in this one, but I just didn't see a lot in this one. Where are you looking in this one? Is it just looking at Kathleen O and moving on, or do you just try to find something long shotty that you maybe could grab? Because I couldn't find a good long shot in this one to sort of grab like I could at Tide in the Sea.
Right. I'm hoping the Goddess of Fire can beat Cat. You know, I mean, obviously those two, like you said, they're the favorites for a reason. They'll probably go 1-2, but if I'm looking for a long shot, let me see. I think I started to look at the 1. Maybe it wasn't the 1.
I looked at the 3, but it's shown no real ability. The only thing I've looked at, it's a really, really expensive and highly bred horse. That's basically what I'm going on. So at some point, somebody thought this horse was going to be something, but basically it hasn't really shown anything since it's run. It's run 5 times. It's finished in the money 3 times. It's only run once, 20-1. maybe you grab that. But honestly, that horse hasn't shown any class that it even really it could finish up in there. I just looked at it. Its breeding is good. It was a very expensive horse, so that was about all I could work my way around. I'm grabbing its jaws there.
Right. Maybe the 2 with IRAD.
Yeah.
The IRAD is probably the best East Coast South jockey, and Pratt's probably the best West Coast kind of jockeys there. But I mean, IRAD's there with his brother on the 3. I mean, they like to help each other in these races a lot. I mean, if one can get in the way of another horse, or I don't know about getting in the way, but just kind of slow down another horse for the other one to get ahead. I mean, that you can see some of the races that they ride in together. They do that. They do that type of stuff to help each other out. Which, hey, if you're helping your brother out, that's great. So if I'm looking, I'm looking to go and look at the 2 also.
Yeah.
For price, just for some good money.
Yeah. The only bet I had in here was like a win play show on the 5, and then just sort of more place and show, heavier on that. Then I'd go on win and see if you could sort of cover your money, and maybe it wins the race. But I'm not even in love with Goddess of Fire all that much. She hasn't shown really a ton of ability to win the race, so that's why I was a little bit more heavier on the win play show. All right, let's move on to the Appleton Stakes here. I was a little bit happier with this one. There were a couple horses I really liked in this one. I really liked the number 2, Scarlet Sky, in this one at 6-1. I thought that was a pretty good price. She's run 10 times on the turf, finished first 3, second 3. So I thought there was pretty good money on that one. And then the next one I was looking at was the 7 in this race. I thought that horse had a decent amount, Phantom Currency. I really sort of, it's been on a nice little run there. And then a long shot who's been hot, Carpenter's Call. I don't know if he's ready to step up to this level, but at 10-1, he's on a 3-race winning streak. So, 3 for 3 on the turf. You mentioned it, good jockey running here. So I sort of maybe throw that one in some exotics, maybe try to make a bet on the number 8 as well. What are you looking for in this race?
I really like 7 Phantom Currency. Yeah. I mean, that's I would be going with. I mean, 3-1 still pretty good.
Yeah.
Not bad money there. And I also really like the 3-horse Wolfies.
Yeah.
Ghost or something, kind of Ghost.
Yes.
For some reason, let's see what I saw. Got a 5th and a grade 3 in March. Had a first. Hasn't done too bad. Workouts have been pretty good in Tampa over the last few days. Just kind of looking at the workouts. So I like that. I like 7-3, and then I mean, I really like your 8 Carpenter's Call too. And I think one other horse I looked at was probably, did you say the 2-horse Scarlet Sky?
Yeah, I said the 2-horse Scarlet Sky. Those, English B comes in here at a 7-2, and it hasn't run well. So that's why I sort of looked at those that are just sort of not favorites, but just off the favorite mark that might be able to finish in here. So I didn't like the English B price. So I thought long shot wise, Carpenter's Call, and then you mentioned it, the 7 Phantom Currency and the 2 in Scarlet Sky on this one. I thought were really decent prices here. So I sort of had win play show bets on the 2 and the 8, and then sort of figure out something really to sort of go with in that race to get some of the long shots. I didn't have a ton of exotics in this one. I think you could probably work your way into a trifecta there, but I'm fearful that English B will come back and screw me over if I don't put it in there, and then I'm adding a horse in there that I don't really want in there. So you could probably figure out a way to work it, but I couldn't quite figure out a way without throwing that horse in there, and then it upped my money into the stake, and I didn't like it as much. So I sort of just like taking a couple of those sort of mid-range long shots and seeing if you could hit big in that one.
Right.
All right.
I agree. win place show. I would just go win place show on Phantom Currency. I mean, may not be a lot of money, but even with an exotic or exact, I would probably do a 7, or let's see, a trifecta. For me, I like the 7, 3, 8, just to maybe get some money out of it.
Yeah, I think you could probably figure out a way to get some money out of it. But I just, the math wasn't working for me. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to do solo ticket bets here. All right, let's move to the big one, the Florida Derby here. Big race here. I actually wrote down a handful of horses I really, really liked in this one. A couple of them. Of course, you got to look at sort of simplification here, and then the 6, Charge It, and honestly, I'm going to say I like the 5, Papa Cap. Once again, I'm going sort of off breeding and what people thought he was going to be, because so far this year he hasn't been all that great, and he's let me down a couple times. So they've moved him into this race. 10-1 though, I think is a really, really good price. So I like that 5, and then the Charge It, I guess you have to look at. I've heard Pletcher on some interviews. He really, really likes this horse. But once again, it's a little like the Arkansas Derby we talked about. You know, this horse has run 2 maidens, and that's its experience. And now it's being thrown into the Florida Derby with a lot of horses who's run, you know, a lot of sort of high-level stakes races here. And the 72 price throws me off. But the way I hear Pletcher talk, he seems to think this is a really, really good horse. So I guess I throw the 5 in there, but I like the 3 simplification. You probably got to look at Classic Causeway. He's cost me a lot of money because I haven't liked him and he keeps on winning. So, you know, that's there, but I think I'm sitting 3-5 for the most part as what I look at. What are you liking in this one?
I really like simplification in this one.
Yeah.
And Classic Causeway. I mean, again, I bet on Classic Causeway before, obviously, won some money. Again, you got the Ortiz brothers on the 2 and the 3. I mean, they're there. And we must be on the same link, because number 5, Papa Cap, I really like that horse. For some reason, it popped out to me when I was looking, and I seriously like the 5 horse to get in the money here. I think has great opportunity. And you explained everything what it's been doing. So 3-2-5, or either 2-3-5, 3-2-5 for me if I'm doing a trifecta. But that's what I see there. The 7 horse has got 3-1.
Yeah, I looked at that one. He seems like one that's going to come back and haunt me because I didn't put him in there because I really liked his numbers, but I was like, and so, I already had the 5-6, so I didn't sort of like his spot there, sitting with all the sort of other high-level horse right next to him. So I thought he might drop back. I don't know if he'll be able to charge. What was your thoughts on the 6, the Pletcher horse, Charge It at 7-2? Do you think anything on that one, or too scared to pull the trigger?
No, I like that. I like that pick. I think it's got a great chance to. I mean, they could hit the board. Let me get back to it real quick. Oh, okay. Charge It. I like Pletcher. Obviously, Saez, awesome jockey. I mean, between the Ortiz brothers and Saez at Gulfstream, you just never know with them 3. They'll win 3 or 4 each day. So it's crazy. But like you said, Charge It coming in just off 2 maiden races, I think might be in a little bit of trouble with these other horses that have been in some of these grade races. So that middle of the pack between the 2, the 3, the 5, the 6, the 7, I mean, it's going to be a little tricky off the start, I think.
Yeah, I think so. So I went sort of win place show on the 5 and the 6, and then I did a win place on the 3 because I by that Boy, and I don't think you're winning much money on that one. And then I did a couple. I just did an exacta box with the 3-5, hoping that would hit. I didn't want to throw too much in there. And then I did a try box with the 3-5-6-2, hoping that would actually be more the one that hit. So those were what I liked in the Florida Derby. What are you laying down on this one?
I think I'm going to do a 2-3-5 trifecta box, and also they'll do a 2-3-5 exacta box just to see if, you're going to get a little bit of money if that 5 can come in, because I really like that 5. You got 7-2, 5-2. Hopefully they don't come down very much from that. But I'd love to throw the 7 in there. If I'm going to probably do a 2-3 on like a first, second, and then maybe 5-7 on a 3, or maybe a 5. Put it at a 2 and a 3, and then the 7 as a 3. So somewhere in that area for trifecta. And people want to go super. If I'm doing super, I don't do them a lot, but I like the 2-3-5-7 box there. Or wait, 2-3-5-7 box on that super if I'm going to do one.
Yeah, you probably look at it. I'm prepared for the 7 to ruin my weekend, so I've already accepted the ruining of that as it comes into like a late third and finishes up strong. So, all right, that's our races for the weekend. Be sure to check out all our shows on our Greenlight Network. You can where can we find you, Ryan?
You can find me at Ryan Cindy on Twitter, Ryan Cindy 2 on Twitter.
All right, that's our show, and we're out.